Hi, this is Mr. Cordes, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go over and review the Web Off the Word activity for the Most Dangerous Game. We have done the Web Off the Word activity before for the Scarlet Ibis, for the necklace, for Of Mice and Men. This is nothing new, okay? Our goal is to come up with other words and phrases so that we can have a ton of options when it comes to our writing. For this writing, there is going to be two topics, and you will get to select, okay? We talked about in the previous activities how General Zaroff and Ransford are both savage and civil at the same time. And then we also talked about how Ransford goes from using reason to instinct. Those are your two options. Okay, you can talk about how your characters are both savage and civil at the same time. You can also talk about how your characters or how your character of Ransford goes from using reason to instinct. So when you look today here at the Web Off the Word, it's asking you to identify other words and phrases for these four words. And even if you're not going to write about one of the topics and you're only writing about the other, it's still okay to produce words. And the reason why I say that is because that way we have more opportunity to pick and choose and select rather than, I only have three other words for savage. I don't know what else to put. I'm going to repeat myself. We really want to expand our vocabulary. We really want to push forward and make sure that we have a ton of other words and phrases and meanings for those ideas. Okay. So looking here, ladies and gentlemen, I would strongly suggest, coming up with at least 4 words for each of these. So you're coming up with 4 times 4, what is that, 16? 16 other words or phrases that would encompass all of these. Because if you look, reason, when Ransford is using reason, it's kind of like he's being savage, okay? When he's using reason, I got those two mixed up. When he's using reason, that's kind of like when he is civilized, okay? When he's using his instinct, that's like how he's being savage. There we go. That would have been very unfortunate to mix those. But if you look, all of those words are going to overlap. So it's very important that we kind of focus and shift and make sure that we have quality, at least 16 words, 4 for each. So if you look at instinct, what does instinct mean? If a person was going to say, I'm using my instinct for this activity, what does that mean? How are they acting? How are they behaving? Okay. Sometimes I like to think if a 2 or 3-year-old came up to me and asked me what I was doing, and I said, well, I'm working on my paper for how General Zaroff, is savage and civil. And they turn to me and say, well, what's civil? What does it mean to be civil? Then I'm able to explain. How would I explain these words to a 2 or 3 or 4-year-old who's asking? Because that kind of almost helps us to simplify what do these words really, really mean, and how can I showcase that? How are they behaving? How does a person who is savage behaving? How is a person who uses reason behaving? Okay, you guys could go out into a grocery store and be able to see who is acting civilized and who is acting savage based upon how they treat each other, right? So take a moment. You're going to find at least 4 words for each of those. If you want to go to the thesaurus, you can. Please remember to make sure that you use words that you know how to use in a sentence. You know what part of speech they are. Don't just pick words because they look good or they look big or you think that I'll be impressed by them. I want words that you know that you'll be able to use and use well in a sentence. Okay. So take the time this morning to get those words, add them here. You can change, modify as you need, but this is going to be our starting point. And this is this is the foundation for our writing, to make sure that we get all of our thoughts out of our head and onto paper. Okay. Message me if you have any concerns. Can't wait to see what words you guys come up with.